It's the SFL Nights it's the SFL Nights with AJ Striker, with AJ Striker. It's the SFL Nights it's the SFL Nights with AJ Striker, with AJ.
Hey, what's up, SFL Nation? I wanted to let you know that I will be going over the games and doing the SFL chat around the water cooler next week because it is a convention. I have been a little bit busy, but I hope that you will enjoy my interview with Mr. Matt South of the Carolina Skyhawks and Mr. Ron Cockren of the Florida Storm. Yep. One. What is up, SFL Nation, and welcome back to my fourth and goal interview. Tonight's guest is someone that I always love to have him on the podcast, but for some reason, our schedules never linked up until now. And I'm so pleased to present to you Mr. Ron Cockren, the quarterback of the Florida Storm. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing wonderful, man. Doing wonderful. I'll tell you what, I'm trying to have an illustrious quarterback career like you had.
It all does to Mighty.
Yeah.
He makes it all.
Awesome. Well, we're going to talk about him, and we're going to talk about your contributions to the team. But first, let's get to know you as a person. So, what is your name? If Ron Cockren is not your real name, and if you feel comfortable with giving it to us, what's your name, your age, your hometown, some interesting facts about yourself, and your favorite NFL team?
Okay, my name is Ron Cockren.
Okay.
Excuse me. And the second question was what?
The second question was, what's your hometown, your age, and your hometown?
Hometown is Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm 51.
Okay.
And my favorite football team is the Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
I was gonna say the Green Bay Packers.
Please don't. See, we already got a good rapport. But actually, Miami is doing a lot better than they have been in previous seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as long as, like you said, as long as you didn't mention Green Bay, we're good. What is some interesting facts about you that people don't know?
I'm a twin. I have a grandson for the first time. I love to help people as much as I can.
Awesome. So you are a twin. So is your brother in the league too that we don't know about?
No. Nope.
Oh, okay.
No.
Did you ever try to get him to join?
Yes, I tried to get him to join. He says he just doesn't have time.
Well, I understand. So tell us, how did you find out about the league in the first place? Because you have been here since season 9.
I got it through Mighty. Mighty is one of my employees, and he was simming through some stuff. It's like, what are you doing? He goes, I'm in a league. I'm like, oh, what kind of league is that? And he goes, here, I'll show you a link. I watched 3 of his games in season 8, and I was like, you need a quarterback. You definitely need a quarterback. And he goes, oh, you want to be the quarterback? I'm like, sure, why not? So that's how I got into the league.
Oh my gosh, in history. So how many of you guys actually work together? Because the last time I had Alex Dominguez on the podcast, he told me that it was like a few of you all that worked together, literally.
Yeah, well, Alex doesn't work for us anymore, but it's myself, Mighty, Evan Carroll, Deontay, which he's a generic, and Alfredo, he's a generic also.
Wow, that's dope. I like that. Yeah. So if you ever have a team meeting, like, hey, just come into my office, guys, we need to talk.
No, not really, but I have them over every championship game. We usually had it either at my house or at one of my employees that he likes to throw parties, so we would have it at his house.
Awesome. And You've had plenty of parties or plenty
Yep.
of championship wins and everything. So, since you've been in the league, since season 9 all the way up until now, what are some changes that have occurred in the league that you admire, that you love? And then what are some that you're like, I don't know why that had to change?
Um, the second question first. There's nothing that I don't like. I love everything about the SFL. I love the progression. I like to see people grow into the league.
Okay, wonderful.
Hmm.
All right. And so with progressions, so how is there a particular play style that you wanted to mimic with your quarterback? Because you're super successful, you are a Hall of Famer, you have accomplished a whole lot in the league.
Well, me and Mighty usually get together at the beginning of the season and we try to pick somebody. Like I think this year I'm supposed to be Steve Young.
Okay.
So that's how we do it. I think last year I was mimicking Joe Montana.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right then. So just to go over a little bit of your stats with everybody. This is your total stats from since season 9 all the way up until now. You have 2,927 completions out of 3,993 attempts. 28,959 yards passing, 193 touchdowns, 190 interceptions. You've been sacked 171 times since you've been in the league, and your current quarterback rating is 89.7. You've only fumbled the ball one time out of your career. So, yep. How do you feel about those stats? And another stat that you guys may or may not know is that Florida has been in the playoffs pretty much every season since season 9, except for season 14, which is amazing.
Yeah, we'll keep 14 out of this. That was my season. I was the offensive coordinator that season.
Well, hey, it was a learning curve. You had to learn, right?
Oh, big time. Big time. Yep.
But what do you think about your stats, and are they pretty much where you want them to be? Do you see yourself wanting to be a little bit more?
My biggest thing, and I always tell Mighty at the beginning of the season, is my QBR. I want my QBR to be the highest. QBR and my completion percentage. I always love those to be the best, because once you show completion, you're distributing the ball around. I love to be generous and giving everybody a chance and everything else. In QBR, that's just the biggest thing out of it.
Which is very important to spread the ball around, because if you find yourself throwing to one target or using one style of play, people can read you and they will definitely make those adjustments. And what I admire most about Mighty is that when I had an interview with him, he told me that every season it's a new playbook. It's just brand new. He trashes the old one just to kind of keep everybody guessing.
Correct. Yeah.
For those that are interested in getting into the offensive coordinator role or a coaching role in general, you've been there, you've done it. What are your thoughts on it, and what is some advice that you would give for that?
Well, like an offensive coordinator, it's very time consuming. Be prepared for staying up until 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and working a sim. I loved it, but my wife hated it.
Yeah. So, I can imagine,
And then also is you get to see your product being put on the field, your offense being put on the field to show.
Absolutely. All right. So Ron, I was going to ask, did you want to do anything else in the league besides, you had that crack at the offensive coordinator, of course, you're the quarterback. Did you want to try your hand at broadcasting or stats or maybe some beat writing or something of that nature? Or do you even have the time?
I don't have too much time running a business and everything else like that. But I like to get into ownership,
Oh, nice.
but I wouldn't be able to do it myself.
Understood. So, fun question, and nobody steal this idea. But if you were blessed with an ownership, what would be the city that you're thinking about moving or having your own team in?
It would probably be New York. That's where I'm originally from.
Okay. Nice. I actually asked Mark Chisholm over in Atlanta about it because he's from New York too. And I asked him, why wouldn't he do it? And I think at the time there was already a couple New York teams.
Yeah.
But now I think that'll be perfect. Is there a particular place in New York?
Yonkers.
Like it. Hey, you've been in the league long enough. I'm sure if you put your hat in the ring, they'd probably G for it. So tell me, what is one of your fondest memories of being in the league?
Championships. So I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but it's all about winning.
I bet it's nice. It's all three of them, huh?
The last one was a very, very good one. The last championship that we did. But last season was a downer to us, but we'll bounce back.
Absolutely. I remember when I joined the league, I remember the first game that I ever watched was the Alaska Storm taking on the Tallahassee Pride in the championship where you guys took the win. And I fell in love with the league then. Heard Cam's voice, heard Andy on the call, and I was like, this is awesome. But more so, I was looking at the chat and how everybody was going in and, oh my God, is ALK, and then Tal. It was like all of this excitement and just kind of drew you in. Was that one of the reasons, besides just Mighty introducing it to you? Was it just the excitement that you get, even though it's an e-sport?
Yeah. It's the commodity with everybody else, and just seeing all these different people and different locations where they're all from. It's just shocking. I mean, when I went to the convention, the very first convention, and they interviewed me there, and I said, this is going to be bigger than the NFL. And I still, to this day, think it's going to be bigger than the NFL.
Hey, that's a nice compliment. I'm sure Cam was like, yes. And he is on his way,
Yeah.
Few more sponsors, you don't never know what happens, but
you ain't kidding.
So for anybody that's kind of apprehensive about joining the league, dealing with this, the sometimes heartaches that we come across, what is some advice, or what would you say to them to kind of get them to just say, just try it?
Have thick skin, and just, it's a game, and that's the biggest thing. It's just a game. And when people start talking, I mean, my very first game, I was watching it, and the one announcer, and I don't remember his name, I threw 7 picks, and the one announcer is like, this guy shouldn't be in the league, and blah blah blah, and all this other stuff. And I went to Mighty, and I was like, hey Mighty, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't have thick skin like that. And he's like, it's just a game. But having other people talk about you, they don't know you. That's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm. And that's true. But, there is a lot of the trash talk that comes with sports in general. And, with me being a quarterback, of course, I ran into an issue that was quickly dealt with, by the way.
Mhm.
where one guy just felt like, oh, well, she's a female. Why is she a quarterback? And he was quickly bounced out of the whole entire organization, out of the league, out of everything. But it does take some thick skin, especially in our positions, because
Mhm.
we're looked at as champions if you win the game. But if you lose, not to mention if you throw interceptions, like I've thrown 7 interceptions, so I know that feeling,
Oh
man. I
yeah.
swear I do.
Yep.
Um, and it could be a little difficult, but it's all in fun, like you said, and it is how you kind of bounce back from that.
Yep.
What describe the Florida Storm's locker room? Like, what type of feeling do
Oh,
you
they're
get?
great. I, well, see, I'm the type, I don't chat. I read, and that's it. Now, when I start to chat, people in the chat, they're like, "Ron's in there. We got to see what he's saying." Mighty always says, "When Ron speaks, everybody listens," in the
True.
chat. But no, they're great guys. From Alex all the way down to Paulie for being the new guy. But they're all great guys. We have our locker room voice chat that we listen to, talk to each other during games. That's why you don't really see us that much in the chat on like Twitch and stuff like that. We're all chatting with each other. But no, it's a great commodity. Everybody loves it. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. So, where where is the future, or where do you see the Storm going from here? I mean, you do have the 3 championships. Um, what do you think? Like, what's next for the Storm?
Like we all say together, everybody in our locker room always says, one game at a time. We're 1-0 right now. Next week, we want to be 1-0 again. So it's 1-0 every week.
Just like
Championships will come.
with that mentality, absolutely, absolutely. So, Ron, tell us, how did you deal with the whole COVID situation back when it was extremely bad, and now that the numbers are kind of getting back, a little. Well, it is bad again.
Getting back up.
How do you find yourself dealing with that, and how did you deal with it the first time when we all had to be locked in the house?
I worked. I haven't had a day. Yep, we worked through it. We were straight through it. I work for a trucking company where we sell truck parts. We didn't close at all, and we were open regular hours.
And that was a blessing even in itself, because a lot of people were laid off. A lot of
Yeah.
people had to scale back. How did you deal with it mentally, though, and how are you dealing with it mentally even now?
It's day by day, depending on the situation that it was at. It's hard to explain unless it's the person there that you want to talk to about it.
Okay. Since you are familiar with the playbooks and the grand scheme of things on how it goes, what do you think there's something that that the Storm can improve upon? Whether it's passing game, which I doubt, but whether it's running game, what do you think? Defense?
No, well, our defense is getting even better now. This year, I think it's a lot better than the past 2 seasons. Our passing would slow down. Our running game is picked up a little bit more with Charlie, and I think that'll even get better.
Definitely. And I did notice that. And it's probably for a good reason, because if people know you like to throw, Ron, they're going to be right there in that backfield, the secondary waiting on you.
Getting old.
No, it don't have nothing to do with you being old. I need my glasses, trust me. I think I probably threw the most interceptions last season. Or
Did
very
you?
close. I think I was very close. But hey, I like to, not only do I pass to my team, I just like to spread the love, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. Some uniforms are very close in color.
I'm gonna use that next time. Oh man. But so what what are your plans? So I let's say what's today? August the 3rd of 2022. What would you have liked to accomplish in a year's time in your personal life and in the SFL?
Personal life, pay my house off. That's the biggest thing is just pay the house off and try to relax a little bit more. And the SFL is the big W, win. Just
All right.
win.
Having that fourth ring, huh?
Huh?
Having that fourth ring, huh?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
well, you know. Yeah,
I gotta catch up to Queen City.
clearly.
Yeah.
But if anybody can do it, I know y'all definitely have the potential to do it. Well, I guess everybody has the potential to do it, but you guys have been in that spot more than anybody else other than Queen City. So, and it would be crazy if it came down to Queen City and Florida.
That would be interesting. Very
It would be.
interesting.
It would
Yeah.
be. But that's wonderful, Ron. So I just wanted to say I have another question for you, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, so kind of going back to the locker room, what was it? Did you ever get drafted?
No,
Okay,
it was the year
so
before.
oh,
The year I was the last year. Then they started the draft.
got you. How do you feel about missing the draft? Do you mind it? Was there something that you would like to experience at some point?
I do. I would love to go through the draft and having my name called there, and then going into the minor leagues to see what was going on with it and growing that way to get more involved. I think I would have got more involved into the league in different areas if I did go through the draft.
Gotcha. Now, with you being in the league for so long, what are your thoughts on the SFLN?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What are your thoughts on the SFLN, the minor leagues?
I love it. I watch the games. Like right now, I'm out on my front porch. I sit out here and watch the minor leagues, and I watch regular games just sitting out here. I love it.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And then when Cam got his TV deal and you found out that we were going to be actually televised, what were your thoughts on that?
I had to call my whole family. I think my family watches it almost every weekend.
Phenomenal. All right then.
Yep.
That is, it's crazy because they watch, but you won't join. What's that? What's that about?
Yeah. Yep.
I need to speak to your brother because I think that if I talk to him, he'd find the time. I'm just saying. But listen, Ron, this was a pleasure having you on the show. Do you have any questions for me? Because I was told that you are there's always like 20 people that as soon as I post my shows, it's like instantly 20. And I have a feeling that you're probably one of them. But Eddie did let me know that you have probably watched just about all of my shows, if not all of them.
Yes, I do. I watch all of yours, and I used to watch Dave Access. Tyler, I used to watch, and I'm just starting to get into the London one. What is it? London Call?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just started watching it. Like I said, I'll watch them all and everything else. Yep, I think I've watched almost every one of your shows.
Oh man, I don't think I've met anybody that has actually admitted that they watched pretty much all of them. And I just want to say, people like you are the reason that I do it, and I'm thankful that you do watch. I'm kind of surprised that you haven't been on here already, but this was the right time.
Yeah.
But
like I tell everybody, my door is always open.
Well, I appreciate you, Ron. I appreciate
Mm,
all of the contributions that you made in the league, and I appreciate you always watching out. And if you have any feedback about anything, please just let me know. I'd be happy to
I sure will.
implement that. All right. And
Yep.
one last question: have you ever played sports?
I didn't hear you.
Have you ever played sports before?
I played high school baseball. I played high school football. I ran track. I was very active back then. I'm going 30 years ago, but yes. Yep.
All right, wonderful. What was your position in football?
Football, I was a wide receiver.
Wow. So, would you have ever considered being a wide receiver, or would you just had your heart set on quarterback, or is that was the position that was offered to you by Mighty?
That was the position. Well, that's the position I told Mike he needed.
Ah, okay. But if you
Yeah,
could have played,
and no, I couldn't have took it from Optimus. Optimus was my wide receiver when I first came into the league. I couldn't take it from him. That's my little son. Yep, he's a
awesome,
great kid. Yep.
awesome. Okay, gotcha. That's just gonna be like Cam and say, "I would have been a kicker." But listen, Ron, thank you so much for being on. You are invited to come back on any and every time that you choose to. My door is always open, and perhaps after convention, at some point, maybe we could get together and you can go be my co-host. If you ever have the time, I would love to have you as my
Sounds
co-host.
good.
Yeah. Cool.
Sounds
Go
good.
ahead.
That's I was going to say that's one thing I'm going to be disappointed about. It's not going to the convention.
Yeah.
I was trying to get to the convention, but I just can't make it.
Understood. Hopefully next year. I know we were supposed to have it in Florida last season, but it didn't work out. And so they
Correct.
decided to do it in Texas. So hopefully the next time, it'll be in Florida or maybe back in Georgia again. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. Did you have any questions for me before I let you go, though?
No, not right now. But
All
like
right.
you said, once I hang up, I'll probably have a question.
No worries. Well, Ron, again, thank you so much, but I cannot let you go without giving you the last word. So that can be a song, that can be a poem, or that can be a simple shout out. Right now, Ron, the floor is yours.
I'd just like to say, Florida Storm all the way. Just Florida Storm, and Mighty is the best coach and friend you could ever have.
I agree with that. Mighty is a really, really good person. We've had many talks. We've had, talks both on the show and off the show. Very good dude. So I totally
Yep.
agree with you. And I think, and I know that you are too. Now that I'm actually talking to you and having a conversation with you, I know that you are too. So
Thank you very much.
you're very welcome. Looking forward to next time to seeing you on the field. All right.
Yep, sounds great. And also, you had a great game against the Storm.
Thank you so much. I wasn't gonna bring that up. But yeah, you definitely we definitely had to prepare for you all because we don't know what you're gonna do. You got Mighty, and we know you can throw. So we just didn't know, man. But anytime that you win against someone like I think most teams consider you all like giants, like that top tier team. And anytime that you beat someone, then you know that, okay, well, maybe we can have a shot at the championship, things like that. So we're definitely humbled, and it was a gracious win. But I hope we don't see you guys in the playoffs, because that means more than likely y'all gonna win out, and then we're gonna be sitting at home again.
Eddie, I got very good confidence in Eddie.
Yeah.
From the conversation that we had at dinner, very, very nice gentleman, and he's got his head on his shoulders when it comes to the league and the offense and defense.
He does. He does. And I believe he did those 2 games just by himself. And I believe Todd is going to be helping out this week. But he did the first 2 games by himself. So, it's amazing what a little bit of time and sleep can do for you.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm looking forward to seeing you out on the field this weekend. And you have a good one. Love.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
Bye bye.
2, 1. All right, and welcome back, everybody, to the second part of my fourth and goal interview. Tonight's guest is Mr. Matt South, quarterback of the Carolina Skyhawks. How are you doing today, Matt?
AJ, I'm doing wonderful. I'm just happy to be here.
Man, I'm happy to have you here. I'm glad we were able to link up. It seemed like it was a little difficult at first.
Time management. Anybody who knows me can say that time management is not my best quality. But I'm glad that we could work something out, and I'm glad I could be on here today.
Awesome. Well, Matt, tell us about yourself. Give us your name, your real name, if you want to, your age, your hometown, some interesting facts about yourself, and your favorite NFL team.
So my real name is Matt South. My hometown is good old Hayes. I grew up there. I went to high school there. It's really a small family town. I don't ever plan on really leaving unless it's for vacation. This is where my family is. This is where I love it. Some interesting facts about me. I am a high school quarterbacks coach, which is awfully ironic considering I play quarterback in the SFL. I played wide receiver in high school. I loved every minute of it. I would go back and do it all over again in a heartbeat. And I can tell you that I'm not the most athletic guy. Did not see the field a lot, but I did enjoy going to practices, having that camaraderie with my teammates. But yeah, and I'm an EMT basic, very passionate about my work. Love helping people, and that's pretty much me in a nutshell. And my favorite NFL team, is the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, dope. I like that. Pete Carroll and crew.
Oh, Pete, I'm a huge Russell Wilson fan. Whenever he went to NC State, that's really what got him his roots with me. Mm-hmm. Love dual sport athletes. I mean, in my humble opinion, I think he gives Patrick Mahomes a run for his money when it comes to best quarterback in the game. I mean, you put Patrick Mahomes on the Seattle Seahawks, do they win 11 games? You put Seattle on Kansas City, do they win chips? Absolutely.
That's a good point. Although Mahomes, I'm surprised that the Bears actually passed up on Mahomes when they had the chance to get him.
I know, Mitchell. I
think that with certain teams, you can definitely make a difference. But I do think that they are what they're supposed to be. Lamar Jackson can be entered into that conversation too. But okay, we need to do just a whole NFL talk. But I'm very opinionated about that.
Hey, that's the way we need to be. That's what drives conversation.
Absolutely. So what I did not know about you is that you've actually been in the league for a very long time. It looks like you started off as a Baltimore Crab, then the Los Angeles Sharks, then took a little hiatus, came back on the Albuquerque Adams, and then you went to the Portland Fleet, and now you're on Carolina. So that was a journey, man. How did you even find this in the first place?
So James Klein was actually one of my high school coaches. Running joke is that I have a golden clipboard because I did stand on the sideline. We always had a lot to talk. Coach Klein can attest that while I was not the most athletic guy on the field, I was definitely one of the smartest. And that's why my passion is coaching today. That's 21 years, and I've been doing it. I've been coaching for 3 years now. So you actually had that backwards. I believe I started with the Sharks, and anybody who's actually been in the league can actually remember the legend Doug Bose. He had a wonderful stint with the league, and then some things fell apart with him. Thankfully, he is no longer a part of the league. Mr. Cam himself, we went through a little brief period of, I don't know if we call it cleaning out, if that's the right term to use. But like I said, some things are better left unsaid as far as I'm glad to see him gone.
Actually, I know about that story. We do not have to rehash it, but yeah, I'm glad he's gone as well.
And then good old TJ, I believe, he brought me on to Baltimore. Actually had one of the better seasons of my SFL career. I think it was 33 touchdowns and 22 interceptions. Don't quote me on that, but it was 30 some odd touchdowns and 20 some odd interceptions. But yeah, I actually took a little bit of time off between my senior year of high school and my freshman year of college. And now we're back. I guess this is technically my junior year of college, but it is what it is. I'm glad to be back. I've got a renewed passion for it. And then found my way over to Portland because Jacob, when I came back in the league, it caused a little bit of a splash. There was a lot of talk about how retirement players should not be able to just join back into the league and resume where they were at. And if it wasn't me if I wasn't the retirement guy, I would be completely on board with it. But since it was me, I tried to defend myself. But there really wasn't I mean, I can definitely see how some of the rookie players were upset at the fact that I was able to come back and pick up my gold contract with, absolutely no issues.
Right.
But yeah, so I got offers from, I talked to a lot of teams, but Jacob giving me his not backwoods, but like hometown story of Portland.
Right.
Like, we're building something literally from the ground up. This is a new expansion team. A quarterback like yourself would really go a long way. Really sold me. We talked on the phone. We did a phone interview, I guess, and that really what put me in. And after the last 2 seasons with Portland, I finally, after 5 seasons, finally have made it over to the Carolina Skyhawks, and am very happy to be here with Mr. Klein himself, along with Mr. Harris, and I love it. I love it in the locker room. I love the locker room atmosphere. I love watching the games. It's really given me a renewed passion for it.
And that's fantastic. And so that was my son. I'm not sure if you actually heard him. He's like, "Hi, mommy." So with I do see here, I'm looking at your stats, and so you've been in the league since season 8. Well, you were in the league for season 8 and 9. Then you came back season 15 and till then. I'm looking at your completion percentage and everything, and this is for everybody that wants to know. You can find this information on www.simulationfl.net. And you have 1,143 completions, 1,700 out of 1,700 attempts. Your passing yards is 11,005. You have 54 touchdowns in your career so far, with 99 interceptions, 36 carries. So you really have been doing your thing, though. When you were talking about the Los Angeles Sharks, the Baltimore Crabs, Portland Fleet, can you go in detail as to the differences and the similarities of each team, whether it's the locker room, whether it's the coaching stances and everything?
Yeah, so I would say with my first 3 teams, really, all 3 of them, they operated very differently. So whenever I joined Portland, that was my first, that was our first modern, the SFL had changed a lot from the time I was in LA to the time that I was in Portland. So joining the locker room before a game and all of us getting in, not video chat, but audio chat, and, talking as the game went on. And Mel Davis, he would stream the games for us. We would just all be in there watching it together. I built a lot of camaraderie. Huge fan of Mel. I love Mel to death. You will never hear me say anything bad about Mel or any of the guys over at Portland. Jacob, Mel, Nelson, they all took very good care of me. But that was my first interaction as far as joining the audio chat and all watching the game together. Actually, during Baltimore, I can't say that I was very active during that time. Unfortunately, I had some things going on with me, especially during my senior year of high school, that I really needed to focus on. So I wasn't able to give the league as much time as I would like to have at that time. But it was pretty much, whoever was there to watch the game. And, some of those games, whereas we're happy to have 60 would be a very slow date for viewers wise on Twitch now. 60 would have been reasons to celebrate back in those days. And then here in Carolina, I really do feel like I found my home. Like I said, Harris especially is really, me and Coach Klein, I call him Coach Klein. I know you guys all know him as James, but I was raised on Coach Klein, and saying James really just sounds weird to me. But he texted me, asked me if I'm looking for a team. I was like, absolutely, definitely would like to be back in the league this season. And he's like, all right, well, I'll send Harris your name and we can look at your build and see if you're a good fit for the team. And I was like, all right, well, sounds good to me. So got to talking to Harris, realized I'm a huge fan of this dude. I mean, have a lot of common interest. Me and him just, honestly, we click. You seen it on the field in the first game. We really clicked on the field, and we do the same off the field. I love being in Carolina, and I really, I know it seems kind of biased because I'm there now, but I would definitely say that as far as people I feel myself most around, Carolina would be the place. Just with James Klein being able to really introduce me and show, break me into the locker room, for lack of a better term, slow me in. And I would have to say that's why I'm very happy right now in Carolina.
All right, and that's good to be happy, especially where you were. But what actually happened over in Portland that made you want to go to Carolina?
I can't say that there was any one particular thing that made me want to go. I would just have to say that I was ready to move on. I wasn't incredibly pleased with some of the results that we were having, and I understand that it takes a whole team, and I wasn't doing my part in the locker room and being a leader and stuff like that. But there wasn't any one particular event or anything like that, but I was looking for a new place to be and always wanted to play for Coach Klein. So that was actually why I ended up there.
Understandable. So what is the differences in the camaraderie in each locker room? And we could just go from Portland to Carolina.
Portland to Carolina, I would have to say that the biggest difference is that a lot of the Portland guys were all new to the league and rookies. We did a lot of work in the draft and stuff like that. So they definitely had different ways of doing stuff as far as who they were. I'm trying to figure out how to word it. How comfortable they were around each other. Whereas in Carolina, we are much more comfortable around, Harris has been in the league for a while. Coach Klein has been in the league for he's been in the league forever. He was in the league before I got there, way before I got there. I'm going to say he's been in the league since season 4 or 5. But yeah, I would just say especially defensively, I don't have the knowledge to be able to sit there and talk defensive scheme and stuff like that. So both locker room atmospheres are great. Don't get me wrong. I would just say that I feel more personally comfortable in Carolina.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong. And ultimately, you've been around for a while. So my thing is you're paying your money and you need to be where you are most comfortable. And mm-hmm. I look at Carolina as the jokesters kind of, I will say that you guys always represent in chat. I'm always seeing you guys. Somebody from Carolina. Sometimes it's all red in there. And I'm like, am I in Carolina's locker room right now? What is going on? So I do like how active that they've been. But tell me, since you did play wide receiver, was quarterback the only thing offered at the time you joined the league, or would you have been open to play any other position?
I would have been open to play any other position just to find my spot on the field. The biggest thing, though, for me was I do feel like a natural tendency to lead. I enjoy leading. I enjoy being the face of the franchise, basically. People thought about Portland Fleet. People thought about Matt South. They were a new expansion team, and they brought in this veteran quarterback with all this experience. Say what you will about my play, but it's like I had all the attributes and stuff, like, I had all the ratings to be well. My contract, my build was just, it's pretty much the same as everybody else's in the league, as far as, everybody's pass accuracy and stuff like that. There's a little bit of deviation from the traditional build, but anyways, back to the original question, why didn't I play wide receiver kind of thing? I always wanted to play quarterback.
Okay.
But we always had like a very run heavy team, so it was either go out there and catch balls during practice or go out there and hand the ball off during practice. We actually, my high school team has a state record. We're in the record books for the number of number of carries in a game, and I'm wanting to say it's like 48. So, like you can see, very, very run heavy. But say what you will, we had almost 2,000 yards of my senior season. So, we were run heavy, but we were successful with it.
And that's all that matters, as long as the other team doesn't figure out how to stop your running game, then yeah, you can run on them all day. And that's a great way to eat up the clock too, especially in those time situations where you need to do that. Yeah. That's one thing, kind of going back to NFL for a minute, with the Falcons, well, they've been making some questionable decisions nowadays, but I remember there was a time where they would literally hold the ball for like 7 minutes, like kickoff, they get the ball, they're taking their time going downfield. And next thing you know, you look up and there's 7 minutes left in the quarter. The team is like, oh man, that's the key. Score.
That is.
Yeah.
Time of possession.
Yes.
Anywhere you go, time of possession is going to be a big thing. Now, there's going to be some wacky games. I'll quote the Chiefs and the Texans game the one year where the Texans actually demolished the Chiefs in time of possession. But typically, the guys who hold on to the ball, literally, if you hold on to the ball and keep it away from the other offense, they can't score. So that's my philosophy. Also, run the ball will open up everything. I could go on and on and on about why I love running the ball. It opens up the pass and attack. You can run out of any formation, anywhere, at any time. And even if from 5 wide, you can't really do this in 2K8 due to like the speedster, the Lamar Jacksons, Russell Wilsons of the league were not. You had Michael Vick. That was it.
That was it, right?
And so even in 5 wide, you're going to have a hard time. Even if you go man to man against 5 receivers, I can take my 5 guys and block your 6. Especially in high school football, there's different schemes and stuff. It doesn't take a genius to really show you and like figure it out. That's why I love running the ball. There's so many different ways to do it. You really can get creative with it, and which is incredibly ironic since I am a quarterback and obviously love passing the ball just as much. But I think a good run game is very important to being able to be successful anywhere.
Awesome. So, Matt, have you ever had any aspirations to do anything else in the league, like broadcasting or stats team, or have you actually done that in the past?
So I'm actually looking at getting my nose into some coaching here soon. I have been talking to Harris about it just a little bit with my work schedule and football schedule right now. My work schedule is 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. every night from Monday to Wednesday, and then I work all day throughout the day on Saturdays. And before that, I've got football from 3 to 6:30. Whether it be just me watching film, and like that's the time I devote to practice, is 3 to 6:30 every day. So pretty much from 3 p.m. until 6 a.m. the next morning, I am almost completely booked. So my schedule is incredibly packed right now. But I actually did, whenever I was really young in the league, I was very eager. I thought about doing some broadcasting. They sent out like an announcement type thing, send us in a video of you broadcasting, calling a game, and we'll see if we can't get you into it. And that's, I actually did that. But sadly, I did not take the position due to like some stuff as far as I didn't have the right equipment to be able to broadcast a game from my home. And I know that I would be able to efficiently call it all the time. But yeah, I definitely, something I'm looking forward to, and especially next season when things really calm down for me, I would love to particularly call a game. I think that would be fun to get on there with Andy Hamilton, especially. I will be the biggest Andy Hamilton supporter ever. He was actually with Carolina when I was first in the league. Andy really has shown me a lot throughout this league. James Klein, if he's my favorite, Andy Hamilton is second.
Oh, love it.
It's close between Andy and Harris. Don't ever tell Harris that because, we're in the same locker room, so he might get a little upset with me. But Andy, I can never speak enough good words about Andy. Incredibly smart guy. But yeah, I've thought about it as far as I just haven't got into it due to my crazy schedule and stuff like that.
Hey, nothing wrong with it. I actually tried my hand at broadcasting. Only problem was my internet wasn't really, I had Wi-Fi, and you really have to be like on a hardwire connection to do that effectively, because my parsec went down in the middle of the game and I had to rely on my play-by-play at the time was Eric Benson, and he did a wonderful job. But I was the color analyst and I couldn't see. So it could be very daunting, but I really do hope that you are able to get back into it. I plan to get back into it as well as soon as I get a better internet connections and things like that. But I understand the passion for it, man. So with your interceptions, though, let's talk about that real quick. Your interception ratio. Now, with quarterbacks in the league, I'm not sure if it's the game, the way it's set up, or what, but why do we throw so many interceptions? I actually have Ron Cockren on. I had Ron Cockren on before you, and he had mentioned that he threw 7 in one game. I know I threw 7 in one game. We actually won that game, but you're like, what? What do you think about that?
That's a great question. You can go back and track my interception numbers from day one. I always thought they were incredibly high because I'm used to watching NFL. I'm used to watching, Russell Wilson go out and throw 30 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, or Tom Brady go out and throw 28 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Or even Aaron Rodgers, he go out here and throw 40 touchdowns and, 8 interceptions. No matter how you feel about the guy, that's what I was expecting. But yeah, no, I guess the game is really wired to give the defense a fair chance. And I think defense, I do enjoy learning about that. I just don't know it as well. I just think defensively wise, that's a big part of it, is making sure that interceptions, if both teams are throwing interceptions, if both teams are throwing interceptions and having a lot of turnovers, yeah, it's sloppy football, but it gives everybody a chance to win. I think it has a little bit to do with the way the game calls the plays itself. I'm not sure exactly on the algorithm that it will call the plays, but I know that last year, or my first season in Portland, the game had called the play 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
Or four. Yeah, I think it was 4 times in a row. It was either 4 times in a row or like 4 or 5 times in a game. And one time it threw a touchdown, the other 3 times it was interceptions. So I think that that's some things as far as it keeps the game honest. Now, I mean, I don't know that I've ever had 7. I might have had 6. I'm going to say my first season against Mr. Pickler, I think I threw 6 interceptions against him, and they beat absolute crap out of us. I believe it was 52-9, something like that. I mean, they just dogged us.
Oh man, I mean, it happens, but it's all in how you bounce back. But tell me, what is one of your fondest memories of actually being in the SFL?
Fondest memories of action. That's a really good question. I would probably honestly say, just this season, especially, I think that this Carolina team is special. I mean, we didn't look that great against Mexico. They came out and they were ready to play. I think they're a championship level squad this year. I think that I will be in Carolina for years to come, and I think something I will really remember is the locker room atmosphere between me, James Klein, Harris, the other Prasad. I mean, I like handling them a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think that locker room atmosphere really is special this year. I think we're going to have a lot of retention coming into next season, and I think that I'm never going to say I think I wake up every Sunday, and I think I wake up every week and think this is going to be our week. We're going to win this game, and then we're going to go on to the next one, and we're going to win that game. Yeah. I don't care if you put together the greatest SFL squad of all time. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to come into that game with the utmost confidence that we have it, the utmost confidence in the coaches that they put in the right playbook. And I just truly confident in all around everybody there. I would say that's, I don't know that there's any like one particular memory. I went through the other day and rewatched my broadcasting experience. Mm-hmm. It was kind of funny to listen to myself because I talked a lot about down and distance. Every down it was 1st and 10, 2nd and 7, 3rd and whatever, and then like I made sure to mention that to fill in my free space. And I really try to pay attention to what broadcasters say to fill in that dead time in between plays. Because I mean we get a 40-second play clock. Is that what it is?
Yes, about 40 seconds. So,
I mean, you think 40 seconds and you're like, oh, well, that's just a couple blinks of an eye and you're fine. But 40 seconds in between, if they're hiking the ball at 35 seconds left to go on the play clock, or 5 seconds left to go, that's 35 seconds in between each play. And, I mean, there can be, 100 plays ran in a game. So, it really just, you got to keep up that free time with something. So I would have to say another fond memory was kind of listening to myself and being like, man, I don't know how they were ever going to let me broadcast because I did not know my hind end from a hole in the ground.
Hey, but that's how you learn, right? You just dive in and you do it. You go back and you listen to yourself and you just make those changes. And then the next time you be better, man. But yeah, mine didn't go too hot either. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is till it ain't,
Yeah, they sent us like a little grading page after we submitted it, and I remember the first thing like on the things to improve list was talks about down and distance a lot, and I was like, ain't no way I talk about down and distance that much. Like I do it like everybody else. Everybody talks about it. It's one of the most important facets of the game. And then I went back and watched it, and I was like, man, whoever graded that was right. I really do mention down way too much.
No worries, man. So a couple more questions for you. How did you handle how are you handling this whole COVID situation? Like from the time when it got really bad, everybody was locked down, couldn't go anywhere. How were you doing mentally and physically now and even right now? Well, now and then, I should say.
So now I'm doing a lot better, both mentally and physically. So when it shut down in March of 2020, I was actually sophomore year of college. Okay, yeah, I'm enrolled at a community college. So it was I was in my final semester. My grades fell apart whenever we went to online. Wasn't too pleased with that. A lot of it was very quick. We had a week to transition from the in-class everyday setting to we're in online, and I hate online classes with all of my being. I am very easily distracted, and if I'm sitting at home, why would I want to watch a lecture when I can just turn to the right, turn on my Xbox and play some Madden. So actually changed career paths based on that. I found, I really did some deep thought as far as, is this really what I want to do? If something comes up like this again in 20, 25 years, is this what I want to be able to do to come back? Like, is this what I want to come to? Like, if that makes any sense at all, is this what I want to put my students through? I want to be a teacher. But yeah, then it was rough. I actually changed career paths to where I'm actually in emergency medical science now, in the paramedic program. And now that I'm back around football, around full time, I really want to go back into teaching. I love the game of football. I could, especially during this time of year, I could love to just sit here and watch football. I mean, I will be watching football 7 days a week. Monday through Friday at the high school. Saturday is, college game day. Sunday is NFL day. And, might take a break every here and there and watch an SFL game.
Awesome sauce, man. All right, Matt, this has been a fantastic conversation. But I do want to ask you, so by August the 3rd of next year, 2022, what do you want to have accomplished, both in your SFL career and in your actual life?
That's a good question. I'm hoping by August 3rd, I'll actually have a different job than what I'm doing now. I'd like to get on with the school system.
Off.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Now you're good.
Oh, it was showing you as a black screen. Okay. And it still had myself over there in the top right corner. Okay. What I'm doing now, night shift isn't the greatest. In my SFL career, we're chasing chips. I think that's what we're all here to do, is win. You would be happy to see AJ lifting that trophy up at the end of the season. I would be happy to see Matt South lifting that trophy up at the end of the season. We're all happy when somebody does it, but we're really, truly happiest for competitors. That's why we're here. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the goal at the end of the day, is to win chips. Or who wins?
Yeah. But yeah, and you're absolutely correct. That is the ultimate goal. I said that I will not retire until I have a ring. I've been in the Pro Bowl. It's a few other things that I wanted to accomplish before I did that. But that's the ultimate goal. That's the reason why we're here, man. But I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me. It was a pleasure to finally get a chance to talk to you. And I would love to have you back on just to do some play-by-play, game-by-game breakdowns and things like that. I think that'd be interesting.
I would love that at any time, AJ. Whenever, you just shoot me a text and I will be on here as soon as I can clear my schedule.
Right, I know you're busy.
Really crazy, but I'll do my best for you.
I appreciate that, man. But I cannot let you go, Matt, without giving you the last word. So that can be a song, that can be a poem, or a simple shout out. Right now, Matt, the floor is yours.
Last words, simple shout out. All right. Huge shout out. I talked a lot about James Klein, talked a lot about Andy Hamilton. So I would like my last final shout out to be to Mr. Harish Prasad. Really excited for what he's going to do this season at the wide receiver position and at the offensive coordinator position. He's done a great job with my build. Really happy with the results he's produced through 2 weeks of play. I know it's early in the season, but I'm really looking forward to what we're going to have this season and years to come. We're here to chase chips, like I just said. That's really all there is to it. If you're not, you're going to see us there in a few years. Even if it's not this year, there's always years ahead of us.
Yeah, but I've been seeing significant improvements with Harish and with Carolina. It seems like everybody is getting more comfortable with the game plans and everything. And the last convention that we went to, seeing Harish die on the field and in person, oh my God, it was hilarious seeing him laid out there like that. But he's come a long way from all of that. So kudos to all of y'all.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. Best of luck to you guys.
You too.
It's gonna be a great season. Gonna be fun watching everybody compete.
Absolutely. Did you have any questions for me before I let you go, though?
Are you a Falcons fan? I heard you talking about them earlier.
I am a Falcons and a Bears fan.
Falcons and a Bears fan.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. That's a wide variety. Literally on two opposite ends of the United States. But hey, what do I know?
Well, I mean, I supported the team and the Bears in honor of my husband, and I'm from Atlanta, so of course I like the Falcons. But like I said, they've been making some very questionable decisions, especially with giving just letting Julio Jones just slide through your fingers. And then you had a fantastic tight end that you picked up in the draft. So I'm like, oh, good. Matty Ice got some targets to throw to. Bet we're gonna be in there. And then you just give away your best receiver. Oh, okay, cool. That was dumb. But they don't pay me to make these decisions.
Their offense has never been their problem. Even without God, I forget the tight end's name. He was so good.
Tony Gonzalez,
5th round pick or fifth. I'm talking about the one they just drafted this year.
Okay.
Anyways, the offense has never been their problem. Defense was always the questionable side of things. Matty Ice, he's a great quarterback. He's one of the better. He's middle. Nobody ever talks about him. He's like Matt Stafford, in my humble opinion. Mm-hmm. Prior to that Super Bowl, nobody really talks about him. During the Super Bowl season, they talked about him. He won the MVP, and nobody's really talked about him too much since. But still a great quarterback, and I stand by that with Matt Stafford and Matty Ice. And maybe I just like the name Matt. What do I know?
Maybe. It's just that he's kind of warmed. They say Matty Ice, but I think he kind of warmed up a bit. He needs to go back to being that ice cold one that we know. But we'll see.
Yeah, he's getting up there.
He is. At first, I thought they were going to go after Aaron Rodgers.
Lord knows you wouldn't want none of that as a Bears fan.
No, I wouldn't. Bears and Falcons, I got to deal with you. I got to see your face. No, that's all right. But hey, man, it's been a pleasure to hang out with you. Thank you so much. And hey, I'm probably going to be contacting you within the next couple of weeks to be on the show again to help me out, okay?
Ain't nothing but a thing. All right. Sweet.
All right, sounds good, man. Thank you.